Welcome to Level Up with Winnie Sun.
Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in. Happy Thursday, friends. And, I'm hoping you're having a good day because certainly there's been a lot of changes in the financial markets if you've been paying attention. So let's start there. The Dow closed down, unfortunately, 317 points. The NASDAQ joined down 76 points. S&P also down 35 points. The coronavirus, unfortunately, continues to cause havoc across the United States and in the financial markets today across the board. The travel and banking industry certainly suffered as investors flocked for, again, those different names that do well if we continue to be shut down. The major averages dropped quickly after a Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said the U.S. economic outlook remained uncertain even after this week's positive vaccine news, as you remember earlier this week. Yesterday alone, there was a record of 144,000 plus COVID-19 infections, which were confirmed here in the United States, bringing the nationwide number of cases to more than 10 million. Average daily new cases, unfortunately, are up at least 47 states as of yesterday. In Chicago, today, Mayor Lori Lightfoot actually said that she's asking residents to cancel Thanksgiving plans and to stay indoors as COVID-19 cases continue to rise. On job data, unemployment claims fell last week to 709,000 from 757,000 from the prior week. Now, that's certainly information that we like to hear. However, again, COVID-19 is creating a lot of havoc. So that's why you're seeing the market not do better and perform better today. So let's see how the week unfolds tomorrow. But here, let's take a real quick pivot because on November 17th, the Digital Marketing for Financial Services Summit 2020 will go live, and I've been invited to participate and speak. So today's topic that I'm excited to share with you is emerging 24/7 digital services, building digital services as a response to COVID-19. And I'm delighted to introduce Kelly Lee, Senior Vice President, Digital Marketing Technology at US Bank. Kelly is a marketing whiz, executive for 15 plus years in managing direct response initiatives for Fortune 1000 customers in a variety of vertical markets. She directs large account teams in development and delivery, affiliate, paid, natural, mobile, and social marketing programs. On today's conversation is going to be so interesting. So I'm super excited to have you here join us. As for myself, I'm Winnie Sun, founder and managing partner of Sun Group Wealth Partners, CNBC Financial Advisor Council member, Forbes CNBC, Good Day LA, Fox Business News, and Digital Trends contributor and host of TV show Level Up with Winnie Sun on NASDAQ, Amazon Fire, and Roku. Kelly, how are you today? Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you. It's great to be here. I'm doing really well. I appreciate the opportunity to talk to you today.
Well, we're so excited to have you. If we could start from the beginning, I'd love to just chat with you. Like, how has the pandemic changed, if any, how you've been conducting business?
It's changed quite a bit. When we were first hit with the pandemic, of course, there was a big rush to move all of our employees to remote workforce. And, that of course came with, some ups and downs, but we were able to really smooth things out from a technology standpoint. One of the things that we did was to set up a command center internally, and that was to be able to just have leadership come together, make some of those important decisions around how we would react to the pandemic, how we would meet the needs of our customers. And basically, all of the ins and outs of the decision-making process could be, so much easier by everybody coming together and checking in on a pretty constant basis.
This is so true. So even before the pandemic, we've been seeing consumers and clients start to shift towards online services. And now with the pandemic, even more customers are seeming to be hesitant to engage in that in-person engagement, right? That's how we've always done business, certain financial industry. So how did US Bank pivot to continue to serve their customers during the pandemic?
Yeah, well, I think one of the things that that's really been happening is that banks have been moving away from that branch presence, starting to shift more transactions to digital, really enhancing a lot of the online applications, a lot of the app capabilities. And so I think that COVID really just accelerated the need for being able to transact online, to make customers who were really not that comfortable interacting digitally, feel like it was just, just like walking into a branch. It was as easy as that. And so, I think we specifically focused on accelerating some of those do-it-yourself capabilities, and then also really introduced the idea of, where customers were less comfortable or where there was a more complex transaction and they needed the assistance of a banker or a mortgage loan officer, putting those do-it-together capabilities in place as well.
Well, that's good. That's great, Kelly. I mean, I'm sure a lot of customers felt a lot of relief knowing that they can conduct business so efficiently online. We know businesses need to continue to grow, attract new business. How did COVID-19 impact current or bring about new distribution models at US Bank? If you could talk about that, I'd love to hear.
Yeah, I sure can. And it touches a little bit on what I was talking earlier of banks just assessing their footprint and looking at their branch presence. So, I think what we're seeing really is the shift from, customers walking into a bank and doing some of those very simple transactions at the branch to really moving all of those very easy transactions, online, through online banking, through the app. I think what we have also begun to see is that the way that branches will exist in the future is really much more around advice centers, and really become, the way in which banks can continue to evolve the relationship that they have with customers and to turn into more consultants than just staff that helps to get a transaction from, one point to the next. And so, I think that distribution model of the branch, of course, it will still be there in the future, but I think in a different way. And I think that many banks are even looking at their physical presence and trying to figure out whether that's the right branch location to have. If the branch location becomes more of an advice center, then, is it being on the outskirts of a city or a town really the right location, or, does it need to be more downtown? And so I think things like that are what we're looking at in terms of that distribution model and how that shift will occur.
Yeah, it's interesting, right, Kelly? This is a really interesting time for traditional industries like us and having to pivot and sort of stay relevant. Customer expectations definitely have changed and evolved this year. We've seen that even here. And do you feel like, has your marketing strategy shifted? And if so, how has it shifted for you?
Yeah, I think when COVID happened, it shifted quite a bit. So our role became less focusing on marketing and promotion and more focused around what is the information that our customers really need to have at this point. So they're less concerned right now about, that next product that they're going to engage, with, and more concerned about, can I make my next mortgage payment, or, I've got a loan coming up due for payment. And so I think we generally shifted our marketing approach with COVID, where we really begun to, communicate a lot of updates. We were getting messages out there around, what customers could expect from a branch perspective. We were giving them all the information they needed to, move successfully through their life in a very, very challenging time. But I think as a whole, I think one of your questions was just generally how, has marketing evolved? I think what we've been trying to focus on is, customers are expecting personalization from us. They want to know that the messages that we're giving them are not for a mass audience, but are really pertinent to their lives. And so we need to be able to have the marketing technology and tools in place to be able to offer those more personalized insights and messages to customers. And customers are also expecting that, hey, you have a wealth of information about me. You have a lot of data on me, and I've been a customer of yours for a very long time. And so I'm expecting you to use that data to make my life easier. And whether that's something as simple as just, pre-filling an application form to, again, kind of getting me that relevant message, I think their expectations have increased, and evolved over time, but I think exacerbated certainly by COVID.
No, interesting. That's fascinating. Always being on, you really have to really feel the pulse of your client, your customer, and certainly like that personalization is key. It's interesting that they want that of you. So I'm guessing, Kelly, you're probably working a lot more hours than you have in a very long time, like trying to figure out what your customer wants and keeping them attuned, that giving them that transparency that they so desire from different service providers now. Is that the case?
Yeah, I would say it's definitely the case. I think when, with COVID happening, I think we saw just the height of activity increase to abnormal levels. It's always busy. We're always challenging ourselves to, be innovative and bring new solutions to the table, and really, just do more and more for our customers. I think when COVID occurred this year in the pandemic, we were really forced to just kind of hunker down and get the messages out to customers that were relevant. Again, whether that be via homepage updates, whether it was emails to customers, whether it was just kind of getting that relevant message in front of them. It was really, really critical that, that we meet their needs, I think, as quickly as we could. And that meant more hours for some of our employees. But, we kind of pride ourselves at the bank of doing the right thing for our customers, certainly being ethical and really being there for them. And so I think that's really what drove employees to say, if I need to work some extra hours and, on the weekends, well, I'm willing to do that because I know it's the right thing to do.
That's amazing. That's wonderful. And that makes you so proud to be part of an organization like that. And speaking of employees, so this is what I think is really fascinating. So, employees across the board very quickly had to go from working in the office to being 100% remote. I mean, we've seen that time and time and again. But one area that we don't always expect that is certainly in the banking industry. So how did the bank transition during COVID? And most importantly, I love if you could tackle this is, do you expect any of these changes to continue into the future, even post-pandemic?
Yeah, I think we were forced to so quickly figure out how to take a large percentage of our workforce and take them from a very well-oiled machine of working within the office to this new environment at home. And I'm not sure our technology was ever really tested at that level, and we really had no time to figure it out. So, I think just by pushing everybody out to the work from home situation, we were very quickly able to kind of kick the tires and do some troubleshooting around some of those those technology snafus that happened at the beginning. But I would say that, I think our groups did a fantastic job of, making sure we were increasing bandwidth and, everybody could connect with each other and really keep up to date on the latest information. So, I think what we found was we made, quite a lot of use of conference calls and WebEx and video, like everybody else, I'm sure, out there. But email, text, it was just really every form of communication I think we used to the max. And I think, we again proved that we could do it successfully. We could keep, doing business and keep things moving at honestly almost even a faster pace than they had before. I think one of the things that was exciting was, being a larger bank and around for a good amount of time, it sometimes feels like, it takes a while to get things done. And because we really had no choice, we found the ways that we could work in a more agile and innovative method and to really get the information that customers needed out to them as quickly as possible. And so by moving to that remote scenario, I again think we've proven that we can do it. And I think what that will mean for us in the future is that we'll see a lot more of our employees moving to a 100% remote situation. And then I think we'll see another big group of people that'll be more hybrid. So maybe they'll do a few days in the office to continue to be able to collaborate with others and do whiteboarding sessions and all of those great things that feel so good when you're face to face, but still even having the ability to, maybe do a couple of days at home. So I think we'll see more and more of that now that COVID has happened. We have proven that we can really work remotely very effectively.
It's so interesting, Kelly, that you say that, because I feel like, in real traditional industries like ours, banking and finance, it's like we were the last group that embraced working from home, and we only embraced it because we didn't really have a choice, because COVID came in and says you really have to do this now, because we've always been so used to functioning under one roof. And it helps, but let's talk about this. It helps with employee morale. Typically, you can work in one direction, you can ask questions, you can pivot quickly when needed. And I think many employees have been so focused on team motivation. And I think, and certainly with the holidays, team appreciation, which is super important right now. What advice would you have for other businesses, especially in the banking industry, who want to keep their team motivated and connected at this rapid pace? And this is such a huge time of change.
It is. And I think one of the things that we found was just keeping that communication extremely current. And, we were able to just, almost do those stand-up meetings, even if it was just getting people together for 10 or 15 minutes to say, hey, here's the latest info. Here's what's going on. And, so I think that's a really important thing to do, just to keep people connected. And so, we're sometimes shooting off the quick email, but, I thought it was really great to be able to do just those quick connects and even give people the opportunity to ask questions and to maybe go a little bit deeper on certain topics. As far as motivation, we, like many other companies, did a lot of, virtual happy hours, sharing, pictures, sharing stories, maybe some things that we didn't normally do in an office environment became more and more important. And you didn't have that connection of, being able to stop by somebody's desk and ask them, how their weekend was, or, any of that type of kind of casual interaction. But I think we found a way to translate that online. And, sometimes it was the happy hours where, people just came together and, we talked about a certain topic, but we really tried to stay away from work so that we could have, those fun times with, again, not being together. And I do think that those are things that'll continue, in years to come.
Do you have a personal preference, Kelly? I'm always curious. Do you prefer working from home? Do you prefer going to the office, or how does that look for you?
Yeah, I actually miss quite a bit getting up and going into the office and kind of, having the start and the stop to the day. I think the one thing that was maybe more challenging with the remote work situation is that, you can basically get ready and you're right there. So you don't have even the, half hour, 45 minutes of, preparing for your day mentally before you actually get in the office. It's kind of right there into it. But what I found to be great about working from home is that time savings of the commute, and just, with so many things, so many balls in the air and so many things we were trying to accomplish, having that longer work day, I think, and just, being able to make that productive time was super helpful as well.
I love that. Yeah, I can completely relate to that. I certainly miss the community, but then, like you said, we're getting so many extra minutes in our day, and with me juggling kids, it certainly has its perks for sure. Well, thank you so much. This is super helpful. And I want to say just quickly, I see a lot of you joining us on all the different social media channels today as we're live streaming on multiple platforms. And it's wonderful to see you. And I want to say a quick hello to Get a Hair and Lena and everybody, Robin, Steven, so wonderful to see you. But you know what that means, my friends. Right now, we're about to do something very special, and this is what we call the speed round. Have you here, and so we'd love to throw some questions at you real quick. And the first one is, what do you think banks can do to reduce threats and long-term risks to their business?
I think banks can continue to improve their digital channels. That's within online banking, that's their websites, that's their mobile apps. I think they need to do more and more to make customers feel like they have that virtual assistant that help to answer any questions that they have, answer the information that they need. And I think the more and more comfortable they feel with digital channels, probably the less likely they're going to feel like they need to go into a branch or sit across the table from a banker. So I think it'll be so important for us to continue to be innovative in those digital channels and make customers continue to feel comfortable with interacting online.
Absolutely. All right. And the second question was, if you had a magic wand, what would you implement at the bank that you think customers would absolutely love?
I think a way for customers to feel like they've got that personal coach who can help them to achieve their dreams and to really set up, financial programs for them that help them to save when they have a particular goal that they want to achieve, to, invest wisely, to feel comfortable asking any question at any time. And I think sometimes customers tend to feel a little bit intimidated with the topic of their finances. And so, getting them to a point that they feel like they can get the answers when they need them, but they've also got somebody they can reach out to who really knows their history and their background when they need that assistance.
Absolutely. And then lastly, Kelly, your favorite type of social media content would be?
My favorite type of social media content, I think, would be, video content and even channels like Instagram and Facebook. I recently moved across the country from the East Coast, and I find it to be my way of being able to keep up with my family who, especially with COVID, we don't get to see as much of them as we would like to. And so that's really a great way to see, videos of what kids are doing and how everybody's growing up. So I'd love to hear that content, and sometimes you get a little bit educated in the process too.
Brilliant. Well, thank you so much, Kelly, for sharing and offering so much value to our audience. We appreciate your time and hope this sparks discussions and ideas at your own company. Kelly, how can people learn more about you and your company and continue to follow along?
usbank.com is our website, and we have certainly within my group a lot of time with keeping that up to date. So I would say that's the best resource for learning about us.
Wonderful. Sincere thanks also to the Digital Marketing for Financial Services Summit 2020. We appreciate all that you do for this dynamic, evolving, and very meaningful industry. Stay well, stay safe, enjoy the rest of your conference. Friends, thank you so much for being here and joining in this conversation. Tomorrow, as you remember, is Friday, which means it's AWA, or Ask Winnie Anything. And you won't want to miss out because I'll be answering your most pressing financial, business, social media questions live on the show. So bring a friend, set a reminder, because it won't be the same without you. Take care and be well, my friends. I so appreciate you being here, and I will see you again tomorrow. I see you, CrossX Fighter. Just want to say hello, and my day's going great because I'm seeing your comment. All right, see everybody tomorrow. Take care now.